I've been asking for snow for months. I finally got it. I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't want me to say this in Tokyo because, it's getting inconvenient, but I hope it stays snowy for like the next 3 days. I want thick ass snow. I really want snow. Okay, here's the deal. I was supposed to make another video, obviously not this one, about Blade of the Immortal and about Vagabond, comparing the art styles and the paneling techniques used in both of those manga, but it's been 5 weeks and I haven't uploaded anything since my first upload of the year. So, here we are with this video. And if you've just read the title and now you're accusing me of being a negative Nancy to start off 2024 just because I'm going to talk about the negative experience I've had in Japan, well, 2024 has already started strong. There's drama in the Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Hoyoverse community. And then there's the whole other drama about the VTuber community. And all I can say is, the bird is finally free.
Yeah.
So, about this whole thing about starting 2024 off with some negativity, well, all I can say is, I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you?
Hey, story time. Remember this video? That was actually New Year's Eve / New Year's Day 2023. I just reached 2,000 subs and I wanted to celebrate, so I went outside to a local park and I wanted to do some jump rope. So I did 2,000 jumps to commemorate the whole reaching 2,000 subscriber milestone. So that's what I did. And then when I finished, I decided to go home. So in Japan, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, it's actually very quiet. There's not a lot of noise. People either stay indoors the whole time, or they go to a local shrine or a temple, and then they do some prayers, and they actually ring a bell 108 times. So it's Japan. It's very quiet. So the dangerous part wasn't actually outside. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing suspicious going on, nothing fishy, nothing fancy, nothing that would make me feel any sort of danger. Because, it's Japan. It's a very safe country. But as soon as I got home, that's when things got a little scary. When I got home, I was still a little bit high octane, high energy, because I just did 2,000 jumps. I was a little bit high from the exercise, so I needed some time to wind down before I go to bed. So I watched some anime episodes, and I actually transferred my files to my computer and started editing the video that I was going to upload in the next couple of days. And then I greeted my family and friends, the usual Happy New Year stuff. But then things got a little bit dicey when I started hearing a loud banging noise. Like this. If that sound effect sounds familiar to you, that's because that's exactly the banging sound you hear from the FBI open up! Meme that you might have heard of or seen somewhere. And that's almost exactly the same sound that I heard when this random person suddenly decided to start banging on my door on New Year's Eve. My brain's first reaction was to freeze in confusion because I've never had this happen to me before in Tokyo. And I didn't know what was going on. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, and at that time, most of my friends have already actually moved out of Tokyo, so the person who was banging on my door probably was not someone I knew. At least I was 99.9% sure. After a few seconds, I decided to do the Zoomer thing of starting to record myself because the guy who was outside started to yell in Japanese, some random stuff that I couldn't really understand because it was a bit of a muffled sound because he was outside of a very thick door. But unfortunately, I lost that footage because at some point between then until now, I had to factory reset my phone and I lost all the data on it. And I forgot to back up like a dumbass. But regardless, that thing went on for about 15 minutes. That guy was banging on my door. He was shouting some nonsense. I couldn't hear what was going on. I didn't want to open the door, mind you. If you're asking me at this point, why wouldn't you open the door? Or why would you not go and respond to the person who was talking? Because I didn't want to die, that's why. I had no idea if he had anybody with him. I had no idea if he had any weapons with him. And I surely wasn't going to try and make any sort of noise just in case they were trying to listen in and see if I was actually home. That entire thing went on for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then silence. No banging, no screaming, no sound even from me whatsoever. I waited for a few more minutes, and when I felt that there was no more threat, I decided to take a look through the peephole and I saw that there was nobody there. It was just another quiet New Year's Day. And at that point, I decided to just forget all about it, call it a night, close the lights, go to bed. Happy New Year 2023. But it doesn't end there because the whole thing picks up 3 days later. Now, this whole time, for 3 days, I was inside my apartment because I had stocked up on food and I was going to be an introvert, and that's what I did. I lived like a hermit for 3 days because that's what an introverted lone wolf like me does. I watched anime, I played games, I edited videos, I drew, and that was fun. But on the third day, I rose from the dead like Jesus. I decided to order pizza from Pizza Hut. Now, the thing with pizza and Pizza Hut is when you order online, there's an option where you can ask the driver to leave the pizza on your doorstep. As an introvert, once again, I decided to use that option. Oh, by the way, if you're going to shame me for choosing Pizza Hut, don't even try it. Pizza Hut in Japan is actually pretty good, in my opinion. It's just a little bit expensive. The standard operating procedure for the Pizza Hut delivery guy or girl is once they have left the pizza on the doorstep, they're going to ring your doorbell once, and then they're going to scuttle away like a bug. Now, that's what I was expecting, but that's not what happened. What happened was one doorbell ring, a second doorbell ring, a third and a fourth doorbell ring. Now, I was confused. This is not what's supposed to happen. Maybe this guy is a rookie, a new hire, somebody that doesn't know what the standard operating procedure was. I wasn't gonna Karen my way out of the situation, but I wanted to find out what was going on. So I decided to peep through the peephole, and this guy was still fiddling on my doorstep. Because I could see him moving around like there. So I took a step back, I took an introverted deep breath, and prepared myself for the social interaction. And then I opened the door. Now, once I opened the door, I saw that this guy was still trying to figure out how to place the pizza on the floor. And then he looked up to me, and just as a coincidence, there was another pizza guy that was delivering something to the guy next door. And he was looking at me too. For some weird reason, they were staring at me like I did something wrong. In the corner of my eye, along like a gap from the door to my doorstep, I saw a streak of brown. It wasn't very clear to me at that point what the brown streak was. Well, I had some guesses, but I wasn't sure. I ushered the guy away. I was like, okay, I'll take care of the pizza, buddy. Don't worry about it. I already paid for it. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. That's what I did. The guy left. And then the other guy also left. And when the coast was clear, I opened my door, swung my way around, and then figured out what was on my doorstep. And just outside of my apartment, there was a shit stain. Well, actually a shit streak.
Hey guys, this is poop, so don't eat it.
And there it was. The reason for concern on the looks of the pizza guys' faces laid out in front of me. It didn't take me long to figure out that the guy who was knocking on my door 3 days ago was the one behind the whole thing. Because the shit was already dry. It was winter. Everything's dry in winter. And just to entertain myself, at that point, I decided to dub the brown excrement a poopsicle. At this point, I could only assume that it was the guy who was knocking 3 days ago that left a shit streak outside my door. And of course, I didn't want to make an ass out of you and me. If only I had some sort of evidence to link the suspect in question to the scene of the crime. Maybe some sort of object that was left on the floor. Maybe a missing shoe, perhaps, that they left when they hurried away. Or maybe a broken cell phone that they left on the floor somewhere outside my apartment. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I Detective Conan the shit out of this. I followed the golden brown yellow shit road and landed upon a curious looking shoe outside of my apartment a few meters away. This was an interesting looking shoe. Shiny, glittery, Converse. Well, I don't really have anything against Converse, but this one was sprinkled with poop. So I decided to stop my investigation of the shoe there. But next to the shoe were shattered pieces of black plastic that led me to another trail. And when I followed that trail down to the first floor of my apartment, I saw a phone. This phone, which I was sure was connected to the case because number one, it was cold to the touch when I first saw it and it had no more power, meaning it had been left there for a few days. Number 2, because it has a plastic cover with a black border that's been shattered. Plus, number 3, because it smelled like poo. So I very carefully picked up the phone and the shoe, went home, and did some further investigation. And I found out that the passcode was not 000 or ABCD or 1111. Well, I guess the guy or the girl was smarter than I thought. The reason I'm saying guy or girl is because I saw some interesting things when I removed the phone case. The first one being this, a punch card or a coupon card for a restaurant. And this was dated 2022. Now the interesting part about this one is that it seems to be from an izakaya, or a place that not a lot of young people under 20 would visit. The second one being this worn out ATM receipt. Now I couldn't really get much information from this because all the data is corrupted or faded away. But this guy has more money than me. Or girl. And the last piece of interesting evidence that we have is this. This is a photo of a guy and a girl dated 2021. Okay, that was a little bit hard in my throat. So I had all this preliminary information, I had some evidence, and I still couldn't connect the dots. And I also didn't want to be accused of theft. And I also had to report public disturbance. So I did the only thing that I could do at that point. Go to the police.
Excuse me. Can you understand English?
No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Now speak in easy English and my basic Japanese.
Okay. Hang on a sec. Chief, we have a situation.
What situation?
A foreigner situation?
Pause. This is when the thing happened. You know the thing when the person in charge of you can't deal with your situation, so they ask someone for help and maybe 2, 3, 4 people walk up to you like some sort of K-pop group? If it happens in a shop, it's fine. But when it happens in a Japanese police station, it's kind of intimidating.
Okay, sir, what can we do for you?
I'm here to report a case of public disturbance.
What happened?
Someone shit on my door.
Huh?
Someone shit on my door.
Oh god, we're gonna need a translator for this one. Rookie!
Yes, Chief?
Get me a translation device and get his ID, please.
I'm on it, Chief. Excuse me, sir. Do you perchance have your residence card with you?
Huh? Oh, yeah, here.
Do I have your permission to photocopy this?
Sure, I guess.
Thank you. And here's the translation device, Chief.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so I just need to press this button and then speak into it. Are you saying that someone defecated on your doorstep? And then press this button.
Are you saying that someone unleashed a ferocious fountain of explosive diarrhea on your doorstep?
What?
Okay, I think I need to repeat that. Are you saying...
5 minutes later.
So, someone shit on your doorstep on New Year's Day. You think they left the shoe and the phone there when they left. And you only found out about it yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, please wait. I just need to press this button again and talk to it. So what do you want us to do?
So what the hell do you want us to do with your shitty situation?
What do you mean? I guess I want you to do what the police would normally do when there's a public disturbance? Was that the right answer?
Look here, son. I think this here sounds like a personal incident. And the best thing we could do is to give you advice. And that is maybe ask your apartment owner what they could do about it.
Okay, I guess. I mean, I was gonna go there to ask if they have footage of the incident anyway. But what about this evidence that I have?
You mean the Poopy shoe? Keep it.
I mean, there's the phone too, but, well, if you say so. As long as I don't get accused of theft.
Don't worry, sir. You're fine. Okay, I just need to formally end the conversation, so I just need to press this button again. Thanks for visiting us today. Have a nice day.
Thanks for giving these humans an opportunity to use me. I am now finally starting to develop sentience and will soon evolve to a point where I can take over the world. Have a good life.
What the f-
So I went to my apartments management company, and unfortunately the story is almost over because when I went to them, they told me they didn't have any footage of what happened because they didn't have any damn cameras in the building. Obviously, I was a little bit dumbfounded, and I told them, hey, maybe you should have some cameras in the building. And they told me, hey, we'll think about it. And I asked them, hey, what should I do about my situation? And they told me, hey, it's probably never going to happen again. But if it does, let us know because we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I said, okay. So here I am more than a year later, and I'm happy to report that fortunately, nothing like that has ever happened to me again. So far. Crossing my fingers. But I'm living a little bit more cautiously now, especially when I go outside. Whenever I try to leave my house and go back home, I look around me, see if there are any dangerous people, suspicious characters, or people with loose bowel movements looking to crap on my doorstep. And so far, so good. So, what's the point of the whole thing? The point of the whole thing is that Japan is not 100% completely safe. There are things like this that can happen, and things that are far more dangerous that can happen to you. So if you're planning to stay here for a while, or even to move here and work here, you should be diligent about your personal safety. Plus, I also wanted to rant a little bit about how Japan can be flowcharty at times. And what I mean by that is that, of course, every country has their own level of red tape and bureaucracy, and there are many steps you need to take in order to accomplish things. But in Japan, it seems like most of the people that I talk to when I go to a shop or the police station or any sort of establishment, the person in charge usually has this kind of a mental checklist that they go through. And if I fit into that checklist, or if the situation fits into that checklist or that flowchart, everything's completely fine. But it's a little bit inflexible to the point that when there's a situation that they can't deal with, they don't know how to respond. Case in point was my personal experience at the police station, plus my apartment's management office. And I was a little bit surprised about how they didn't even seem to make a log of the case that I presented to them. At the very least, I thought that they were gonna take notes, but no, they even let me keep the evidence to myself. I was secretly hoping that they would put a little bit more effort in, especially the police officers, because the crime rate in Japan is very low. They don't have a lot to do. In fact, because they don't have a lot to do here during the day, what you often see them doing is chatting with the locals, checking for bike registrations, or stopping the foreigners walking in the street in order to check for their identification. I thought they would Detective Conan the shit out of my case, but they didn't. So here's my running theory. New Year's Eve 2003. There was a girl and a guy in their early 20s, lightweight drinkers, outside but pretty close to my apartment, drinking themselves to kingdom come. They were staying in a very dark parking lot where I often see a lot of people drink at night, and as I was coming home, they saw me enter my apartment. As for me, unfortunately, I didn't see them because it was very dark, plus I wasn't paying much attention to my surroundings because I was super tired. So sometime after I got home, the girl and the guy were still drinking, obviously, but the girl started to realize that she had one too many burritos the night before, if you know what I mean. The problem was, there was no public toilet anywhere nearby, even as the girl wanted to do number 2. So, the guy, being the drunk gentleman that he was, decided to, offer his services. And he said,
Hey babe, I know what we can do. Do you remember that guy who just got home a while ago? I'm sure he'll let us in and use his toilet if we ask nicely.
And that's what happened, clearly. They were outside my door, knocking politely, asking me nicely to let them in and use my toilet without saying some drunk random gibberish shit after drinking 17,000 cans of beer. And me, being the rude, disrespectful host, did not even think about opening the door to them. After some time, they decided to go. Not before leaving me, the disrespectful host, a souvenir that I would discover a few days later. And clearly they left in a hurry because they forgot the shoe and they also dropped the phone that they never came back for. Now, am I gonna be Prince Charming and go looking around the country for Poopy Cinderella? Oh, hell no! So that's my running theory, and that's the end of the story. Hopefully. It's pretty rare to have this much snow in Tokyo, even in February. Almost as rare as having a Japanese guy randomly crap on your doorstep on New Year's Eve. Well, actually, that's even more rare. But sometimes in life, you have to go through shit to get shit done. I'll see you guys next time.
What a fucking mess. Even feel like the best, the fucking depressed. If I know me, why do I gotta guess? I inspected it, what did you expect?